Firstly, sorry this is on mobile and throwaway. I, F32, emigrated to my husband's, 39, home country 5 years ago, and we have a beautiful son who is 3. My mother, 52, has always been controlling, and frankly is a typical narcissist. She was dead against my moving, and was even more upset when I had my son. As a combination of her husband being terminally ill and the pandemic, she wasn't able to meet my son until this week, and she has complained bitterly how we cheated her out of her special time with her first grandson. I wasn't exactly excited about her coming to visit us, but my husband convinced me we should try to let our son have a relationship with her. Well, from the moment she arrived she complained, our house is too small, the garden is overlooked, etc. She complained my son doesn't speak much English, and so she can't communicate with him. She complained that my son didn't want to hug her, that he wanted to stay with his paternal grandmother. My son spilt a drink and she shouted at him. We are taking the gentle approach, so I told her not to do that, and why, and she lost it, telling me I have no idea how to raise a kid. I told her she needs to respect my methods, or she can leave. She stopped, but the whole rest of the day you could tell she was furious. That night my son was having one of those nights where he just isn't going to sleep through. My poor husband also had an IBS flare up in the early hours and we realized we had no medication. When my son settled at around 7:30 am I decided to do a quick run to the 24-hour pharmacy to get some medication, leaving son and husband both asleep on the sofa. I was gone for 20 minutes, but when I came back my mother's rental car was gone, and so was my son, while my husband was still asleep. He was as shocked as I was they had gone. Tried my mother's mobile but no answer. After 45 minutes of me becoming increasingly hysterical I called the police, who came out very fast, and when I explained as above took things seriously. 6 hours later my mother pulled back up and started telling the police, most adults know English here, that I had told her she could take my son out for the day. I'm currently 6 months pregnant, and she said it must be pregnancy brain, which the police seemed to accept and acted like the matter was closed since my son was home safely and showing everyone the toys he'd been bought. I told my mother to leave and that I never want to see her again. She started telling family I kicked her out for no reason and she can't find the hotel, and they blew up my phone, to which I told them she had kidnapped my son and I'm going to pursue this with the police. Now I'm being called an a-hole for saying my son was kidnapped when he was just taken on a day trip by his loving grandmother, and that an accusation like this could affect my mother's job as a nurse. Edit. Lots of people saying my husband shouldn't have pushed for this meeting. You are right, but I don't think he was wrong. He didn't force me to agree to it. I ultimately had the final say. And I get it, he is. We are lucky his parents are amazing, so despite knowing my mother isn't great he didn't want our son to miss out. We expected some snide comments and awkwardness, but were ready to ignore that for our son. Since my mother's normal weapon of choice is nasty comments, he wouldn't understand, so if we kept smiling he wouldn't know. I feel grief that my son is going miss out on having another grandmother, but she made her bed. Edit 2. Holy s ****** T, is this real life? So she is now trying to change the narrative to I did not kidnap your son, but also if you think your husband could just sleep through an abduction then your marriage is a sham. How could you be so reckless to leave your child with him? I cannot even with this. NTA. Also, you should press charges and make sure a restraining order is put, cause it's only gonna get worse from there. This was a kidnapping of a small child and should be taken with the utmost seriousness. A small child she had physically spent less than 24 hours with and couldn't talk to. NTA. It's truly irrelevant what all these people think. You escaped all the toxicity successfully by emigrating. Cut all ties with the kidnapper and everyone who supports her. Thank you. I feel like we are going mad here because so many people in my family are telling me I am. Kidnapping is taking a child out of the custody of their legal guardian without permission or justification. That's literally the definition of what your mother did. *BYDEFINITION**. She kidnapped your child. There are, like, a lot of laws against that. And it should affect her work as a nurse. There are rules about nurses not being kidnappers *FORREASON**. They have to be able to be trusted with people who are vulnerable, and kidnappers are by definition untrustworthy. Thank you. I knew she wasn't the most trustworthy person but this is off the charts. You are NTA. Your mother did kidnap your son, and this likely won't be the first time she tries that. This is potentially a trial run to see if she could get your son out of the country. Do not let her visit you again. If your son has a passport, keep it under lock and key. If the police who responded don't believe you, talk to their boss. Ask to speak to the local prosecuting attorney. Perhaps even explore if there are orders of protection you could take out to legally flag that your mother isn't allowed near you or your children. I'm so terrified because our garden is next to a public path/playground and the fence is only hip height. I don't want to let my son play outside right now despite my parents-in-law and brothers-in-law coming here in case anything else happens. NTA. She took the child without permission and disappeared. Not even a text telling you where they were or that she was taking him to the park or something. She waited for the moment he was unsupervised, took him without a word and purposely didn't answer her phone. It was a kidnapping. It doesn't matter if she is the grandmother. She has no right to do that. All she needed to do was ask permission, or at the very least call you and tell you so that you knew where your son was. Instead, she acted as if she could do whatever she wanted. Put a stop to that. Call her a kidnapper and tell the rest of the meddling family that they can go F*** themselves. Thank you. I felt like I'm going mad here, but who takes a child they have physically spent less than 24 hours with and they can't even speak that child's language? She also clearly let him have cola, which we had been avoiding since he has asked for it twice today. Just taken on a day trip by his loving grandmother. Which part was the loving part? When she complained he's a foreigner who won't speak English, or when she shouted at the 2-year-old child for spilling his juice? Your mother did kidnap your son. She took him without permission or even anyone's knowledge, then actively avoided communication even to let you know the kid was safe. She just somehow managed to get the cops to believe she did nothing wrong since she brought him back. NTA, and now you can't leave your kid out of your sight. So thanks for that, mom. NTA. She did kidnap your son, and if other family members don't want to hear that word, too bad for them. NTA. Do not allow her around you or your children again. I'd also cut contact with anyone that voices support of her actions after hearing the whole story. Toxic relationships are not worth sustaining. I also wouldn't trust those people supporting grandma. They think they know better than the child's mother who was there. I would be concerned that if Oppen family visited the rest of her family in her home country, some of those people supporting grandma would help her get access to the kids without the mom knowing. NTA. It was kidnapping. Also cut all contact. That woman is nuts. Don't let her gaslight you into staying in contact. PLS. She will just do it again and more. BC. She got away with it the first time. I'm sorry, but I'd raise hell at the police chief as well as the fact she only just met him. So I'd push on this matter, especially kidnapping and not answering calls. But I'd tell all family members what she did, what she said to stuff it if they can't get behind you on the matter. I'd also call her employer as well as the people in charge of nursing licenses and report what happened and give them the police report case number to back up you pressing charges. It's a serious offense and should be conducted as such. Stupid games get stupid prizes. NTA. He had just fallen asleep on the sofa with his dad. At what point would you have said, sure mom, feel free to wake him up and take him for an outing? You tried to let her have a relationship with him. She failed spectacularly. She showed that she's a pathological liar who will yell at your child 1 minute and try to buy his love with adventure and toys the next. To put it mildly, you do not need that kind of drama in your life. Feel free to go no contact and keep calling it kidnapping. NTA. Your mother took your child without either of his guardian's knowledge. Sounds like kidnapping to me. I hope this does affect her job as a nurse. NTA. She shouldn't be allowed around your son anymore. That must have been so scary. Wow. Agreed. This is unacceptable on so many levels. NTA. NTA. She did kidnap your son. Whether she had nefarious intentions or not doesn't matter. She should never have done that. What the actual hell? NTA, and anyone who says otherwise is delusional. You gave your estranged mother a chance to reconnect for the sake of your son, and she blew it completely by asterisk asterisk kidnapping your child asterisk asterisk. It asterisk asterisk was asterisk asterisk kidnapping. Don't let her flying monkeys persuade you otherwise, and kicking her out and cutting her out of your life are both reasonable responses to her actions. Also hoping, that your partner believes you about her now she isn't like his family. NTA, your mother obviously took advantage of the situation. She waited until both you and your husband were indisposed to take your son without your consent. That is kidnapping. I'm curious if she had any kind of car seat in the rental car. You can't just strap a 3-year-old in with a normal seatbelt. That would be really unsafe. Is absolutely NTA. If I were her I'd be going NC with her mother. Her behavior was completely unacceptable. NTA, but this should show your husband why you weren't interested in having her meet your child. We lived in my home country for 5 years. Before moving he saw enough family gatherings to know exactly what she is like. NTA, but you need to keep her away from yourself and your son. She is unbelievable. NTA, call her employer and show the police report. You were away for 20 minutes. When has a kid ever been woken up, dressed and eaten breakfast, gone potty, packed their bag with a million toys, had snacks on hand in 20 minutes? I smell bullshit. Your mum definition did this on purpose. NTA. NTA, this is a fight worth fighting. Anyone who can't back you up here can, and should be, cut out too. Her actions were pure evil and meant to break you. You keep fighting for him. NTA. No sane person takes another person's child without leaving details of where they are going and staying in contact. I'm so sorry. That must have been so stressful for you. NTA, I mean, don't kidnap babies if you don't want to be called a kidnapper. NTA, and seriously pursue this. She kidnapped your child. NTA, your mom is toxic. So NTA, you recognized right away that she kidnapped your son and took proper action. The police never should have listened to her. I hope you and your husband, who doesn't have pregnancy brain, they bought that, do follow through with filing charges, if for no other reason than to get her out of your country. What she did was wrong, and she knows it. You know exactly what type of person she is. Your husband needs to trust your gut and listen the next time she wants to visit and you say no. He is already beating himself up so much because he kept saying it will be fine and then she took our son literally under his nose. He feels like he failed our son and me, and it breaks my heart to see him so upset. If she didn't tell you and then lie like that, then she was probably trying to stir us up and is an awful person. Pursue legal action. NTA. NTA, they can all kick rocks. She's even worse than you described. I'd block all those people trying to defend and enable her. I'd honestly go NC with not just her, but all the people trying to manipulate you into compliance. NTA, I think you went easy on her. Honestly, she is lucky I'm 6 months pregnant and too shocked to think. NTA, you must have been terrified when you didn't know where your child was for hours. Your mother used a minor family crisis as an opportunity to take your child without your permission or knowledge and refused to answer her phone all day. This was not a misunderstanding. I'm glad your son is home safely. Your mother sounds like a nightmare. Press charges and see if you can get her banned from your country. NTA, the pregnancy brain comment out makes my blood boil. I don't think anybody would forget giving permission to take her child for hours to the point of calling the police. She tries to make you the bad guy and completely disregards your opinions and feelings over a matter that doesn't concern or impact her at all. You know, one of the reasons I never had kids is because my mom told me when I had them, she'd take them whenever she wanted. I looked down the long line of my life in terror and didn't want to subject my children to that. You're not mistaken. You're not confused. You're not paranoid. Your mom was gone for 6 fucking hours with a child she didn't know and could barely communicate with. Wherever you are right now, go to the embassy of your mother's country, if there is one, and notify them that she kidnapped your child. Let them know that under no circumstances will your child be leaving the country with her, and there needs to be some record of it with her embassy. I've no doubt in that time she was trying to find some way to get him out. She doesn't know the area, she doesn't know the kid, and she feels entitled to him, and you. NTA.